Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to yet another video. This time we're around in the Wilver Racing League once again, finding ourselves over at a little bit of a feature race here. This time we are at the track of Zolder. We just saw the sprint race before this. We're once again in Discord and we're going to be looking to do our best here over on the Belgian track of Zolder. So yeah, quite an exciting matchup ahead of us here. We're starting in first, thanks to the reverse grid that is in place, because the first 6 are starting up from the reverse order. We are now actually in first, so it really couldn't have been any better. We're in a good position here to try and score some good points, but it also means that the competition's going to be fierce, so better try and keep it clean. Obviously, once again in the GT3 cars here with our lads over from Australia and New Zealand mainly, of course. And well, the sprint race was quite decent, I'd say. So I'm curious to see if we're going to be seeing improvements up to here. But well, we're going to find out eventually. For now though, it's focusing over on the straight. And obviously starting in first is always a privilege, really. If you don't make any mistakes and if you defend well, you've got a good chance at winning the race as well. But obviously the competition's fierce and we have a couple drivers now behind us, straight behind us actually. There are 1.5 to 2k in terms of iRacing rating. So that's quite high, of course. We're once again doing the alternative layout, so no surprises there. And I can't wait for this one personally. It's going to be a lot of fun as well, and it's very good to see you guys all here. This is the tight chicane that we'll be tackling again. Last time it didn't go so smoothly around there. We've had our fair amounts of shoot-ups into the sky. Obviously trying to keep the fuel as low as possible here, as well as we can only really fuel up to 60% here. That's a requirement in the race. That makes it quite exciting as well. And we'll see what comes here. And let's hope that we can tackle it this time around. Though now getting in a little bit of pace. We're trying to warm up the tires as well, of course. Michael Ferguson starting behind us. As with the reverse order, that's the case. And a little bit over an hour we're going to be racing. It's going to be 1 hour and then finishing up the lap as well, of course. So yeah, it's going to be a long one, I think. And see what comes with it. I have good expectations at least here. It's going to be a banger, I think.
You too. Good luck.
Well, now we're going at it. Get ready. As we go into the left here, up to us to try and start it off. When we come up to speed, everybody's here. Now we're accelerating, and it is green, and we've got a really good start here coming out, immediately getting a gap behind us here. And that's a big send here by the driver who wanted to go down the inside there. That's Michael Ferguson, I believe. No, it's actually, yeah, it was. Okay, interesting. He's gone off trying to attack us here, but we make a small mistake in the beginning as well. We find ourselves unfortunately standing next to the track here. That's not so good. That's going to cost us a lot of position. And well, that good starting position that we had is unfortunately done for. There was a slight mistake in the Porsche, which is usually a very reliable car. And I think this was just also a small driver error. That's what happens sometimes. But well, more's going to come, I think. And for now, it's just a matter of waiting patiently. We're finding ourselves in the midfield as always, and once again we're joined by our good friend Daniel Bucher, who currently finds himself in P3 over in his BMW M4 GT3. Not the GT4 this time, of course. As we go at it now, I'm really curious to see if we can match the pace this time around. There's a big crash, and no, that is Michael Ferguson. Once again, he seems to fall victim. Last time he braked himself. Now he's been hit, I think, because that looked like a big mistake and definitely not a loss of control. It felt like a big shunt that he's somehow had, but I'm not sure about it completely, as it was a little bit too far from us to see. But we survived the first lap. Coming up will be a couple more here as well, of course. And right now, it's Jason Beckby leading the race here at a small gap. We got to be careful that we don't clip the wall here. Very close to it right there. And accelerating, we come in. Now we push to the absolute limit, obviously trying to create a gap here behind. So Ronald Allen was behind us for the time being in his BMW M4. A couple interesting cars out there that you don't get to see often. I see the Audi, which I mainly know from Assetto Corsa Competizione, where it was an absolute death trap. We've also got a Corvette on the grid, which I think is a pretty awesome car to be having here on the GT3 field. Obviously, namely, we see that one over in IMSA, for example. And just one of those other tight chicanes there, but then the right-handers make what makes this so incredibly difficult.
Oh, what the fuck's going on with my car?
Now we come in. Second place it is right now.
Spinning all of a sudden.
And there's more drivers complaining about the grip here. Makes you think there's more to it than just the race conditions.
Damn, you get a run.
Multiple drivers have pointed it out here, and obviously on the old layout we go straight up there, and that's one of the few corners that isn't as tight around the circuit. It's a very tight circuit in general. And it shows. It most definitely shows. Coming into turn 1 here. We're all good to go as it stands right now, and we're looking to put up our best result as always. And here, well, shifts are good. Acceleration coming in now as well.
Oh.
And we're in fifth gear, pushing it to limit. More incidents happening elsewhere. Osburg involved in that one. And I think it was launched over the curb, just like we have done a couple times before in the sprint race.
On the other side, so I've got to yield off the other side.
We're still P6, and I guess that's a pretty stable position to be holding on to. And third it is right now. Fifth position coming in. Accelerating it is here. We're unfortunately a little bit too far away from Kit Bueller to really try and directly open up an attack. Shame really. Now well, that's how it is. Now obviously there was no qualification this time around. It was just a sprint race position, so that doesn't really tell us anything about the lap times coming in. But as well, looks right now we've got our first 26s on the board already here, with currently the race leader Jason Beckby being the fastest one. Daniel Burger, a good friend, has made his way up into P2 as well. So we're getting those improvements in early, which is pretty awesome to see. There's a move down the inside perhaps, and well, Ronald Allen is quite keen on it, so we're going to give him the space. Now wheel to wheel here with the BMW. We let him go. We want to make sure that we don't cause any incidents. Make sure that we do not break ourselves here. It's a corner that has been going wrong multiple times for not only us but a couple other drivers. It seems very tricky to get that one right, and I think that makes a lot of sense here. Back to first gear for the tight corner combo here, and immediately shifting up as well. I think there was a little bit of a short shift coming through as well, whether intentionally or not. That's the first 5 minutes I've paused here. We are now good to go, and it's going to be a lead now for Daniel Bucher as well, as he's made his way up to first position here. Obviously he is the driver rated the highest, right? Obviously 5k iRacing rating in total is quite a high number. We just do our thing. It's tight around there. P1 for the fastest lap right now. And we keep pushing here. Now obviously we're not the only driver out there who's not from Australia and New Zealand. Apart from our friend Danny Bucher, of course. We've also yet again got Robert Tan Racing over from California. So a diverse grid, I think that's fair to say. And that goes for both the drivers and the cars. It's good to see so many different car makes as well. The McLaren, Audi, Porsches, BMWs, even the Chevrolet. That's pretty awesome, I have to be honest. Now, this is looking a lot better, and that was a really quick turnout turn as well. This could be good for our fastest lap so far if we approach it nicely. Ronald Allen is still gaining on us here. Tight corner here, it's just so incredibly difficult to get it right. We were up for a really good record up until that point. Maybe still good for the improvements though. It's all going to come down to how we nail the last couple corners coming in. There we go, all is good. As we push it up into fourth, we then again can accelerate onto the straight where we go into fifth again. And well, at least I feel like we've nailed our shifting points, we've nailed our braking points by now, right? We're getting that consistency, and obviously after the sprint race as well. I think that's pretty awesome. And you know what's also pretty awesome? You for watching this video, and if you like that content so far, make sure you like and subscribe as well. As you can tell, I'm very creative with plugging my channel. Well, my channel, Sven's channel, of course. I just do the commentary over it sometimes. As we make it into the chicane yet again. Well, that on this gain, and actually getting close to Ronald 10. That was probably not how we wanted to take that corner. It's cost us a little bit of time as well, obviously. The rest is all good here, and now making it through here, we unfortunately can't really nail that corner. We've gone a little bit too wide. That's a track cut for us as well, unfortunately. So obviously that's an incident point coming in. Unfortunate, yet I believe that was fair as well. Obviously this is a longer race, so we're expecting a little bit more incident points as well. But now, well, so far so good.
About a foot closer to the apex, like about a foot more on there.
Well, as it is right now, we're stable in our position P6 with Daniel being in P1, of course, as always. Yeah, once again he's doing so incredibly well, and I think that's fair to say. Obviously he's way more experienced than we are, and racing since a long time ago, but so have we. We've only really picked up sim racing again quite easily, it feels like. Obviously that was a long story between two brothers starting racing in the Zolder Corsa Competizione. Sven and Jan-Matthijs those were, of course. There's a car in the wall there, so that's never a good sign. And that's also the position is lost for him, of course, only before he come back to driving. It's so unfortunate, really, that is the case. So we've seen a couple of disconnects as well. In the meanwhile, we're only down to 8 drivers. Our crew, Aidan Lamont and Michael Ferguson, will not be finishing the race, it looks like right now. With Daniel Bucher being the driver in the lead at the moment. We are finding ourselves in a stable P6. Roughly midway down the field if it wasn't for the DNF, so I feel like that's a pretty decent result, especially if you consider our ELO all along as well. And that's, I think, what we should be aiming for, right? You gotta be able to keep that consistency up, and at the moment we're doing exactly that, which is really fun to see.
You're pulling away from me, right? So you got on the power quicker. So
far the races look good as well. Our way through, we've got drivers pushing in behind. Eventually that's Kid Beal on a 2 to 3 second gap, depending on where you look, of course. We're looking to be clean away from him, and I think he's made a small mistake as the time, well, definitely went down there, which is good for us. And obviously we're not kind of clear of both Robert Tan ahead and also David Chalk behind, so we're once again finding ourselves in that dilemma where we're not really fast enough to keep it with the faster lads, but we're also too consistent to fall behind a little bit more, which just means it's going to be a tiring and boring race from that point on, up until we get some more action in. And I think obviously that's going to happen as well. From time to time we'll see drivers catching up, we'll see drivers making mistakes. I mean, out of nowhere we saw a driver in the wall quite recently, and apart from the chaos at the start, that was all it was good for.
A lot easier driving around
First position is right now getting up into second and third. Yeah, shifts are looking good, but we've lost half a second this lap unfortunately, so we're not going to be improving this lap. We can try again next lap as well. We're coming through the final sector, and again I'm finishing it up over across the start finish line. fun as well, life goes, right? Obviously we had one driver from Wilver Racing in a random lobby, and since then it's been well, a long story of us joining here and just sticking with it. At the moment we're participating in 3 of their leagues. Well, kind of, I guess. You've got the PCR, then the GT3 sprint race, and the endurance race as well, of course. Which is one we're currently watching. Well, it's not really an endurance race, it's 1 hour. But it's most definitely a feature race. I think endurance starts a little bit later, depending on how you look at it. Back when I still did live commentary on ACC as well, which I don't really do often anymore, I saw myself doing 2-hour races sometimes. That was quite a bit of fun as well, but obviously a lot difficult as well to kind of talk through. Now that obviously also goes for just spectating one driver. It makes it hard to observe whatever the rest is doing, but I think it does really showcase how it's going right now.
The off track on the last chicane is a bit weird.
It's a little bit of a slow corner from us here, unfortunately.
The right-hander.
In the middle of it, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know, I just get an off track when I clip the grass with like my right wheel. I'm like, oh, so weird.
Just discussing the off tracks there. Icon, I think it was Sven talking.
Much room to touch it, and you just get that off track and there's a plane in the backside.
As we keep going
Same
at it
as going
here,
into
it's
it when you
45
come into
minutes
the first
left
left-hander.
remaining of the race, which means that we're quarter through the race right now. We're currently
easy
finding
to get.
ourselves in the stable
Not just an
P5.
off track, but a slow down there.
I mean, for the slowdown you have to cut quite significantly.
That is quite good.
The off track, yeah, definitely.
We keep pushing here to the absolute limits. Obviously we're on a, well, still a little bit of a gap here. The gap behind us increased, which is good for us. The gap ahead is also increasing, which is bad for us. So mixed feelings about this one. Just stabilizing our position a little bit more here, but I guess that's part of it, right? So well, this time also a little bit slower through there still. Luckily, it doesn't really matter as much here, so drivers are still very far away.
It's just a matter of time. Well done.
And well, some drivers overtaking each other now. It's Kid Bill was
good.
gone by David Chalk
man.
now, and now it's up to him to see if he can actually get the gap in there as well. That's what I'm quite curious to see.
Just gotta tell myself, just chill out. Just calm the fuck down, but just that thing. You're just a menace on the rearview mirror, brother.
Well, this is right now, all is good. We've got plenty of drivers here who are just minding their own business now, but obviously we've got a new driver behind, and they're already a mistake being made as well. We saw that. That's going to cost quite a bit of time, of course, in this as well.
I sweat my ass off every race at the moment with the temperatures over here.
Now, what is left of this race? Is it going to be a race where all the drivers are still able to get up some positions here, or is it just going to be one of those races where everybody's kind of stuck in what they're doing, and it feels like we've at least got a target now in the hands of well, the driver ahead, Robert Tan, that is. But you know, the thing is, mainly it doesn't really matter how are the consistent lap times, because those are what matters most in the end anyways.
Bloody high humidity too.
Sitting on the shooting range all day today. People coming through there. There's no ventilation at all. It's absolutely dying to ventilate.
Yep.
Well, there's once again just demonstrating how tricky it can be to get that one right. It's so incredibly difficult. You don't even realize it yourself most of the time.
Leader is running 25.24.
Leader's running 25.2 here. No big surprise, I think he's quicker than us, but
Oh, mate,
still.
I nearly fucking collected you. That was so bad. I thought it was this corner.
that does
Just lost the breathing room.
really not help. I think that's fair to say also.
Balance has been restored and we're back to where we were.
Now, well, what is left? It's what you wonder. Can we do anything about the driver ahead of us here in the Audi R8 GT3? It feels like we're actually gaining on him now. I mean, we're a second clear now still, but maybe that is just a mistake we were waiting for all along. It looks like Robert is quicker than us, but the thing is mainly how can he handle the consistency? That's a small mistake by us there. Fortunately, it's gone that way. How well, coming into the first few corners, we also know that Kid Beale's going to catch up eventually if he keeps going like this. Makes you wonder just how much is that worth. There's a big mistake. Yeah, that's once again, as I've told you. That is so incredibly tough right there. As we make it through now, we're a little bit more careful through here, and I think that makes a lot of sense as well. That was the first big mistake. "40 minutes left to go in this race here. Robert Tan has once again been gaining on us here. No surprises there.
You're good, come on.
We focus up here. So many opportunities that might arise soon.
Sorry, I should have told you earlier. Come on. Sorry, mate.
You're right.
All the kills coming through here. Over on the field, there's been so many drivers that you can just see above that have just been absolutely annihilated here. And whether the reason was, well, some crash in the beginning or some technical issue, it feels like the field is just falling so hard right now. We've got so little drivers actually left here. I can count 7, but there is still an Avon there somewhere, and he's actually currently between the P1st and the 2nd. And yeah, that makes you think here as well, how has that even happened in the first place? And, well, as it stands right now, we're minding our own business. It's going to be the tight chicane and then the right-hander yet again. No surprises there.
Just fucking enjoying this dogfight.
Got a yield today, so I'm just gonna hang it out there.
Well, What now is there left to do? What makes me wonder. How are they going to approach this? More drivers are having some moments where it's quite tight and quite difficult to get around. As for doing our own thing here, has been a rather uneventful race so far. It feels like every driver is minding their own business at the moment, and that's not looking to stop anytime soon.
Close now. Woo! Trying to get a bit of air there.
Yeah, that's a good time. I've got to go get my daughter anyway, so it's stop racing. I've got to go be a fucking parent. So.
Some more complaining happening in the Discord as well, which just shows how incredibly difficult the conditions at the moment are. It's just a matter of keeping your focus right. It's not a rainy race, there's no darkness or anything, but still, you gotta focus up here.
Okay.
The grip on the track, well, it's sketchy at best sometimes. Fortunately for us.
Yeah. I don't normally, but I can.
So if someone
I can.
say replay the
Same on the board, it's exactly the one.
sorry,
We're doing alright.
Yeah.
I think so far it's been a good race on our side, and doesn't look like that's stopping anytime soon. "36 minutes left to go." There's once again a similar problem that we had before. Luckily, Porsches are very robust, but that's once again just not how you want to be taking that corner at all, no matter what happens. So that's tough luck, really. Well, once again a slower lap coming out from us, and this time it's our own wrongdoing, unfortunately. Here, Kit Beals in P6 with a 9-second gap, and well, behind that it's actually also Daniel Bucher again, who's just doing his own thing out of there. Yeah, incredible to see here as well. Ross Buchan minding his own business, and then we've got all the disconnects, right? Carl Cruz, Aina Lamont, Michael Ferguson, David Chalk. It's a heavy bunch here. Have been taken out early, which is a shame, because obviously the more the merrier, right? That's how it usually goes with racing, up until a certain standard, of course, but more drivers usually makes it more exciting and more difficult to overtake. You've got more battles going on. At the moment we're in a very stable P5, however, with Kit Beal being behind us at 9 to 10 seconds at times. And Robert Tan as well, clear of us as well, has really driven away over time. With the more consistent lap times as well. The fastest lap time that he's put up is, well, 7/10 quicker roughly. Over the last 5, however, is more than 1.5 seconds per lap, which just shows, well, with the small mistakes that we've made, it seems a little bit difficult. That's part of life, so be it. As for now, though, I think we're doing okay. It is 34 minutes left on the clock here over at Zolder. The track situated in Belgium, right over the Dutch border. Well, that is still on my list to visit, which I might make happen next year. Not entirely sure yet, but we'll see how it goes. This time a little bit slower through here as well, but now at least starting a new lap. It's a lap to forget on that side. Laps of fuel remaining. Meaning that we gotta go for first pit soon, and With a bit of luck, we'll be able to fill our gas tank up to max if we go for one pit stop in the middle of refueling fully. So we gotta stay out there just a little bit longer though, and that I think should be doable as it looks like right now. We'll see how that goes, and I think that's also the strategy that most other drivers are trying to get in here whenever they can. Once again, going a little bit faster here in this still rather twisty section. I think that the whole circuit is just a twisty section with a couple exceptions on the straight, but very little time to calm down usually. Once again, keep at it now. It's going to be a decent lap from us, but once again slower than our record. Getting close to the halfway mark at this point now. Still going strong. We're staying out here. We want to make sure we reach at least the half time. Maybe that will allow us here to do it on a one-stopper. Which I'm very curious what the plans are for Sven here. Is he going to go for tires as well? Is he just going to go for fuel? Does he have any repairs? I don't think he's been hit that heavily. Sure, he's going over the curb a little bit too aggressive sometimes, but he hasn't really hit the wall, or any other driver for that matter. I think that's a good sign, and this is the exact corner where we have seen it go wrong so many times, but at the moment this is all okay. And I think that's awesome. I think that's good to see. The consistent improvements is there as well. Obviously the fastest lap we've done so far, in the 26 is now 2. Daniel Bucher in the meanwhile driving in first, has gotten that gap over now to a 1.24.5 even. Some really impressive laps that we're seeing here from him, and keeps going at this rate, he might be able to lap us as well. Actual incredible performance from him. And well, he's currently driving alone in no man's land here as well. Just minding his own business. Obviously he's so much more faster than the rest, and Jason Begbie's on 16.5 seconds, actually getting close to 17 at this point. A desperate attempt to try and get closer. He's doing everything he can, but we're just not seeing it, unfortunately. Shame, really. I would have loved to see a little bit more here. Yeah, 30 minutes left now. We're halfway through the race officially for the first time. At least when these 15 seconds go by here. As soon as we get up to turn 5, it should roughly be there. And, well, as it stands right now, Robert Tan is 10.5 seconds clear of us, where Kit Beal is 11.6 seconds clear. Which is actually really funny, because that actually means that we're gaining on him now. Which is pretty awesome to see. Ross Buchan's kind of doing his own thing over on there as well, but he's obviously way slower than the rest of the field at the moment here. I mean, not because of lap times or anything, but he's just have that, you know, kind of inconsistency thing, because he's actually doing faster laps than, for example, Kit Beal is doing, but the gap is just enormous, right? And I think that's definitely going to cost him in the long run as well. But drivers are going to have to come in for a pit, of course, at some point. Got 6.5 liters left of fuel, so it's going to be pretty soon, I think. They're actually going to be trying to go for it. That is now 4th gear coming up there as well.
You got about 2 laps of fuel left.
2 laps of fuel left here, so very little in fact. And well, as we move up to 5th gear here, once again need to slow down for the toughest corner set on the entire track. I think it's fair to say at this point, right? I don't know why I wouldn't. It has been a similar thing for some other drivers as well, but this one's pretty tricky as well here. Obviously, Zolder isn't an easy track by any means, and it's loved by some but hated by many as well, obviously. Yeah, as it stands right now, we're doing okay, and that's pretty awesome to see.
The car in front is pitting.
Our front spitting now. That's Roland Allen. Number 10 has stayed out as well, but drivers in 3rd and 4th position have come in.
You have about 1 lap of fuel left.
That's also the sign for us to come in.
The lead is pitting now.
The leader spitting now as well, so all the drivers are coming in with very little fuel remaining, where they're going to push up to the maximum here. Need to refuel quite a lot here in order to get the most out of it.
You change tyres, Jace?
I did not.
Already.
Some drivers are talking about them not changing tires, interestingly enough.
I don't think I'm changing either. Front left's at 85, that should be enough.
We're covered by the fuel input anyway. I was dropped back down before the fuel had finished.
How well we need to come in there. There's only 1 liter left of fuel remaining.
I dreaded it by the end of the race. I thought I'll see what happens
So
this time.
yeah, that's going to be it
Yeah,
then.
be a good
It's
experiment, eh?
going to be a pit coming in from us. So we're refueling to max. So we've got that pit limiter on now as well. It's a very tight pit lane actually as well. Not a lot of people notice. That's thanks to the refueling stations over there. We've also got another penalty for unfortunately speeding in the pit still. That's a shame, but oh well. It's not the end of the world, I think.
5, 3, 2, 1.
Well,
Right here.
here we go. Looking to drive right up. There it is. Now we refuel here. We've got so much to do. You can see the fuel calc coming in here as well. It's pushing up to the maximum as we want to make sure that we can stay out. And Robert Tan just passes us back in the pits. Unfortunately, we did gain a position ever so slightly, but yeah, well, thanks to this, it's taken a while. Tire swap's done. Now we move on to the refueling. And they're taking their sweet time here, of course. And we're also gonna get held on here as well to make it even worse. So yeah, we're gonna be stuck here for a while, it feels like. Holding for, well, 40 seconds is no joke, of course. And that might just be us going down as well in the order.
Okay, go.
There's the sign to go again, but we're P7 now. Fortunately for us, we've got a very long to go still. As we go at it again here, we're into 4th gear early this time around here, looking to get on the throttle, and now actually on last position here, interestingly enough, but that's also because we had that massive penalty going on, right? So we need to move on now, and Kit Beal is the driver ahead of us now, 20 seconds roughly ahead of us, and he is a little bit slower over time, so with a little bit of luck we'll be able to catch him here. Obviously there's just a little bit over 20 minutes remaining here in the race. Just immediately on the fresher tires, the car should feel so much better now as soon as we get some heat into them, of course. Which is what we're doing right now on our outlap. Oh, now so good, but what can we do? fifth gear it is now, pushing over the straight. That was our first lap here. The out lap coming in over in the circuit of Zolder. Obviously it's a very short circuit, especially if you compare it to the ones that we have done before, right? Road America, for example, took a little bit longer to get around to. This is a faster track and a shorter track at that as well. Obviously 1 + 1 is 2 here, so the lap times are going to be lower as well. A little bit over 20 minutes remaining here, and as we once again get up to this straight, we know that turn 5 is going to come up eventually. So far so good here on the laps. I struggle to see anything wrong with this. Problem is, however, we've got so much left to do as well. Feels like we should be able to get a better result in than last position, but obviously I'm not entirely certain about it. Well, so far so good. This time actually could be good for a faster lap as well. Obviously we're quite heavy again if you compare it to how it normally goes. We're obviously refueled and ready to race, so that is something that most definitely doesn't help, of course. But oh well. It's not about the lap times at the end, it's about actually where you finish on track, and at the moment we're looking to do our best here by well, at least trying to accomplish the best possible result here, which I guess at this point would be something like P5 or P6, depending on how the other drivers do. But if I look at how quick the drivers are around the track, I think it's safe to say that it would make more sense for us to finish up in the, well, maybe P6 at best here. Obviously we're quicker than Kit Beale out there at the moment, and we have been consistently as well. Makes you wonder how much is there left to do here. How much can we really get out of this? Just 20 minutes left to race. So now it's basically the length of the sprint race that we've got left to go. Problem is now that we're a little bit more tired after this one already, of course, but ah well. Results, they so far have been solid. I think if you just ignore the fact that we've obviously had our fair share of moments which we could have avoided, we haven't gotten involved into any big incidents, and I think it's a couple small mistakes that ended up weighing rather heavily, which is what's costing us here. But ah well, so far nothing we can do about them, and still the result of the race could be in good hands here still, as obviously we'll at least be finishing ahead of the drivers who will not be finishing the race, so in that sense it is a little bit better now. Blue flag is out for the driver behind us as well. That's the BMW right behind us of Jason Begbie here, contesting for I think it is P2, yes indeed it is, but he's kind of driving in no man's land. There's a driver behind him still, Ronald Allen, who is obviously trying to push up as well. Now let's see here, we're obviously on the straight. Maybe we'll be able to utilize the slipstream of the driver that's that we're gonna pass soon. Thanks, as buddy. Well. Maybe that will help us out. Who knows? Could obviously be the case as well. Now, though, obviously there's other things on our mind as well here. It is getting quite sketchy. But, well, if we just loosen up the pace a little bit here, as we see the BMWs come past us now, then we should be alright. And I think so far it's all good, really. Obviously, there being more to gain. "17 minutes and a little bit more left to go. This lap will obviously be a little bit slower yet again, but now we can try and keep pushing. Maybe now there's something in it for us. Obviously not able to get into the slipstream. Jason Beckby and Ron Netherlands on a different lap as well, so we gotta make sure that we get out of the way whenever is deemed necessary, of course, but I think that was a given at that point. Well, so far so good, right? At least that's what I like to think. But are we safe yet? No, not by any means. We obviously know that as well. So just looking to do what we can do best, and no matter what the results of that will be, I think it's at least noteworthy that we're still going strong and that we're not giving up. And I think that's a good mentality to have as well. And we just keep focusing on our own things for now. And then the results will follow at some point, of course. And can't wait for that one, to be honest. It's going to be a fun one. Especially to see all the action unfold as well. It's obviously been a very exciting one all around. And 15 minutes we have left to go.
New fastest lap for you.
New fastest lap for us at least, so we're still improving on those lap times, of course, which is a must-have if we want to catch Kid Beale here. It's actually not that far clear of us, believe it or not. Well, 50 minutes now. So we're getting there, most definitely. Here once again, just struggling on that exit, it seems like. It's a recurring theme with so many drivers around us now.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Well, just letting the drivers ahead of us by here, but see, that's what it's all about at this point. We're not looking to do any damages to the drivers here all along, and obviously they are still driving a race more than we are in any shape or form. Now as well we can enjoy the back of this BMW knowing that he's on a different lap. Kid Beale is however losing ground on us. 13 minutes left to go here. Well, at least now coming into the first lap, we'll be able to improve a little bit more. And obviously, Kit Beale's getting within range. 5 seconds now. It was 5.5 at some point. And when that U-tilt comes into place, that's where everything's really gonna get started. Lining up for the attack, it's gonna be a while. There is just a little bit remaining here to get to him, and I can feel it as well. And we all know it. We all know it as well. This might just be the time now. Try and do it on. And a half minutes left to go.
Thanks, Kit.
And there, ooh, a little bit dicey through there. Kit Beale has now had to let the other drivers by, and it's cost him a fair amount of time as well also. That is great. Maybe that will just be the one thing that we need.
How's everybody going for incident points?
Well,
Yeah, I just got-
Some drivers are on
Come
free
on,
incident points. We're unfortunately not up to
Yeah,
that
one
range
last
anymore. Funny, it was as easy.
Yeah, chicane's giving me trouble. Last one. Always clipping the right side and getting one.
Yeah, well, as we hear now as well, yeah, it's always the same chicane, and we already knew that, of course. No big surprises there at all. Now at least it's getting a little bit better here, but we're still not there yet. We're trying to get up to Kit Beale whenever we can, but
those tyres might just pay out for you,
we're
mate.
just lacking the pace right now.
Maybe.
But I think it will be safe to say we're going to get there eventually, of course. And
We are where we expected to be.
we are where we expect it to be. That's what
Yeah,
we're
we're down.
hearing right now through the voice comes as
Yeah,
the
they get sloppy.
final 10 minutes have come in now. Now this is where it all starts. It's a potential comeback here onto Kit Beale, at least, who is the slower driver between us two. We've got the gap now managed down to 3.1 second even. That's quite a good thing to be seeing here.
Concentrating.
At the sprint race, yeah.
Daniel Carl Ross.
Slow down. You got a penalty.
Now that's slow it down for us. Unfortunately, that's another incident point added as well. But to make it even worse, that's going to cost us time to recover, which I would like to argue is more important at this point.
Heard of the steering run.
Now we can push if we want to. Maybe, just maybe, an opportunity will come to us. As we come over towards the straight here, we now know that we gotta hurry as well if we want to get there in time. And we know it. And we're gonna try and go for it as well, of course, but there's 2.5 minutes left to go.
The leader just did a 25.0.
Leader does a 25.0. Pretty impressive number.
You cut the cord, try to slow down, give up that time.
That is unfortunately a time cut for us here as well.
We all just did it manually in the end.
Yeah, nice totally to have a look at it once it's
Well, time is running out here, but we do gain the position. As he has unfortunately had to, well, abandon this lap. He's coming to the pits, and that's now gonna cost him. No matter how you look at it. As there's a little over 6 minutes left here, we're focusing up here to try and make it through the corners as well as we can.
Yeah. Streaking away.
There is indeed our chance, it feels like, to at least stay on this position. But unfortunately for us, it's been too little to really try and do anything else with it. It's going to be a race where we'll have mixed feelings about. To be honest.
Thanks, good.
And oof, that is a mistake there. Maybe a lack of concentration towards the end of the race here. Well, 5 years to go. We keep pushing here, seeing what we can get still, but knowing as well that the driver in P5 was actually a driver who was kind of behind us at this point and almost a lap ahead of us. We also know that it's kind of a mission that we can't really progress further in. Obviously, it's mainly just about maintaining the position, not making mistakes, and then we'll see how it goes. Minutes. So with a bit of luck that should be 3 more laps, but that's also going to come down to where the race leader is, of course, and that's all going to depend if we can get another lap in or not.
Oh man.
Slow down.
This time though, at least we're not making any silly mistakes, and we can see as well that our heart rate is kind of slowed down a little bit here, and I think that is only a good sign from this point on, as obviously we're trying to finish the race as well. And keep in mind as well, the old principle goes as follows, right? To finish first you have to finish, and that's exactly what we're aiming for right now. A little bit over 3 minutes left to go here, and fuel should be fine. I'm not expecting many troubles there, but Now it's just a matter of finishing the race in style, right? And maybe with the fastest lap we can do. But if you look at the order here in terms of fast laps, it's actually looking quite normal, right? Obviously, Kid Beals had to pit an extra time. He was quite well ahead of us. And if it wasn't for that, then I think he would have stayed ahead of us as well. But obviously, time would only tell in that case. And we're not going to see that this race on. But it's a shame, really, which just makes me think, has he fueled up all the way like we have? Have we just been more fuel efficient then? Or what has really happened there? Makes you think reading here once again at the top of your screen, the DNFs here: Carl Crew, Aidan Lamont, Michael Ferguson and David Choke. So that's some drivers that are always participating but not getting any points, and that's usually a good sign for the drivers that actually do finish, as obviously they will stay right where they are. And 2 minutes left to go. He will go to accelerate. Into 5th we go. And bound to 1st even.
Thank you.
And actually it looks like there's still a good battle going on track as well between Jason Begbie and Ronald Allen. We're still fighting for P2 and 3.
Doing my best to like
even this late in the race.
Just hold as much momentum.
And have both pitted as well. One has pitted a little bit earlier, wanted to say, but that's actually not the case. That's our friend Daniel Bucher, who's pitted a lap later than the rest in that case. And well, he's been doing really well. I actually noticed as well that Ross Buchan is currently not doing too great here in terms of, well, at least the tires. He went in after 8 laps, and that makes me wonder if he's going to make it all the way towards the end here. Gotta be careful with it though. See, that's a driver that's behind us right now here. And I wonder just, is this even worth it for him to really try and attack? I mean, it's not going to gain many positions, but does he have the fuel left? Maybe his car holds a little bit more fuel, but I wouldn't imagine so, because they should be, on paper, at least the exact same cars. So I don't really have an explanation for that one. Maybe somebody in the comments knows, let us know as well. And that's also now your free reminder that if you're liking the content so far, make sure to let us know. And that's a big bump all the way towards the end. That's a shame. Now the Porsche does make his way by. As the time is officially up now, and with us driving... Ooh, there's the spin. There's the contact with the wall. Oh, now we've got a damaged Porsche here. As I was gonna say, well, need to make it through to the end now, even with a damaged car.
Too much damage, we've got to fix it.
And there's actually the repairs needed sign now as well. It's a black flag. But if we wait now for the race leader to overtake us, then we should be able to make it through nicely. I think that's also the game plan here, right? No, we have to come in.
Got the white flag. That means one more lap to go.
It's the white flag as well, but is that going to be the case in case we get overtaken? I'm not so certain. There's a driver approaching as well, though. In the back mirrors, and that is Kid Beal in the end here. That means we're going to be right there up the park as well, and we're going to cross the line here. I think we should be just in time for the P6 position at least, and indeed we will be. Robert Tan just about laps towards the end, but we're going to finish P6. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure once again providing the race commentary for you. Now, if you have any feedback for me or Swens on my commentary or his driving, make sure to let us know, alright? It would be very much appreciated if you guys could do so as well. And here are the standings then. We are going to at least move up. And, well, 14 for this. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys later on.